welcome to Our Wish Radio. Here we are live at the New Living Expo in San Francisco. We do encourage you to follow us, come along, give us a hug, and take a look at all the expositions and the beautiful speakers that are here. And right now, we had the opportunity to hook one of them. I have with me Dr. Rosie Kuhn, right? Dr. Rosie Kuhn at www.dr-rosie.com. That's correct?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
drrosie.com. Yeah.
drrosie.com with a dash in the middle.
Yeah.
So basically, tonight she's going to be speaking about spiritual healing in the
Spiritual wounding.
in the workplace.
That's right.
And I wanted you to share a little more about that with the audience right now.
So, first of all, it's really important. Should I look there or here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking here. All right. So first of all, it's really important to know that we're all wounded. There's nobody that gets off this planet unscathed. So as if we get to know, first of all, that we're all wounded, we don't take it so personally. Second of all, we're wounded even before we come in on the planet. Sometimes we're wounded through birth processes or maybe past life processes or in families, schools, all those kinds of places. So when you come into a workplace, you've got a certain amount of wounding that's already in place before you even begin within the environment that may be wounding in itself, but mostly it's the people that we are that function in our functions that have us get more wounded. But a lot of times what happens in the workplace is we get triggered. Our old stuff gets triggered. And so then but we're acting pretty unconsciously about that. The more conscious that we get, then the more we can actually make changes. And the best thing to do, the easiest thing to do in terms of making these choices is to begin to notice and consciously practice noticing as a way of saying, how is this feeling for me? What's this like in my body? And wounding, in a sense, is fear-based. And the idea that I'll be talking about is that if we come from a place other than fear-basedness, which is a new paradigm or a different paradigm, then we can start to feel ourselves in a different way, in much more alignment with a non-fear-based perspective. And so when we come from that place, we're more in alignment, and then we can really manifest more openness, more expansive, more innovation, more creativity, more of what we're wanting to manifest, as opposed to our fear-based wounding, in a sense, keeps us sheltered or protected or armored.
Absolutely.
So the more that we notice, it's like, oh, I'm talking to you like this, and I can't connect to you very well if I'm connecting this way.
And the interesting thing is that, and I'm sure you guys have noticed that as well, a lot of people go to work all day, come back exhausted, and they have no clue why. And I think this is a big part when you're actually going through the entire day, and you're all tensed up, right?
Yes.
So now my next...
Hi, how are you? What can I do for you?
Exactly. And actually working your entire day that way, and you get home, you're like, oh my, I can't do anything.
Exactly.
Now, for those, so the first step, and that's very powerful, becoming aware and noticing that.
Yes.
So once you've actually become aware of the wounds that you have, and that you have built through the process of living your life, life, other lives, whatever, what's the next step in resolving these challenges or opportunities?
Well, there's a wound there, and then it's how we be with the wound. Okay? So if I think I need to protect myself from my wound, then this is how I'm going to be going through my life. If I think I have to go like this to protect myself, this is how I'm going to go through. So getting clear about, am I a victim? Am I a perpetrator? Am I, how do I be with my wounds? What do I do with my wounds, in a sense? Okay, so that's really important, just to say, well, how do I do that? And then the third piece is to actually, once we have a sense of I'm doing this, then do I feel safe enough to start to maybe let this go? And if I let this go, I can realize that the environment is a whole lot more safe than I'm imagining it to be. So it's one thing to be self-realized, and it's another thing then to be actualized, which means you're taking action in alignment with what you say is true, which is, this isn't who I am, and I'm not my wounds, so who am I in here? And so if I can let go and relax...
Confirmation.
That's
these, we use them as confirmations.
So that's basically it. But if we don't take action by just even noticing is a good action to take. But then to go, oh, do I feel safe enough, or am I willing to practice, or am I willing to explore what it's like to do this? And to know that, for instance, you're a pretty safe guy to do that with. so I can practice with you. So the practice
Practicing
is
the key.
really important. Yeah.
And I love that. And also, you were saying that just noticing is super important. And I do know that a lot of people that do notice these stories coming up realize that it is most of the time just a story. And sometimes when they pinpoint what that story is, it's so much easier to let it go and say, well, that's just a lie that I've made up, or that's a story that I've been told in the past.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So coaching is what I do, and I encourage people to, if they have this kind of process going on, to get a coach who can say, okay, where do you want to go next with this? How do you want to be with your wounds? Because a therapist will kind of help you in some ways. But for me as a coach, and I was a therapist before I was a coach, is to actually say, well, here I am right now, like this. How am I going to go from here to here? And that's a great job to have a thinking partner or a coach or a therapist that's going to say, okay, what do you need to do? What do you need to let go of? What thoughts are you holding on? Well, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. It's like, is there really anything to be scared of at this point? It's like, well, not really. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Well, how's that? It feels great.
Feels great.
How does that feel? How does that feel?
I love that.
So that's basically what I'll be talking about.
Thank you so much. So basically, you definitely want to go ahead and find someone that you can trust, and a coach or a consultant or someone that knows what it is that they're talking about can definitely assist you. So I recommend that you go visit www.drrosie.com with a dash in the middle and find out more about this beautiful individual, and also make sure to sign up at ourwishradio.com because you will be updated with all the beautiful individuals that are here live for this beautiful weekend. So thank you again for being part of
You're
Our Wish
so
Radio.
welcome.
Give me a hug.
Yeah, you bet.